Hey everybody, it's Chris with Silent Flute, and I had a request on deepening the experience of the leg behind the head, Ekapada Sirsasana. So I already have some videos on a progression of techniques, including doing standing poses, some particular stretches, some ways to get into Supta Karmasana, which is 2 legs behind the head forward fold. So I'll give you a couple other tips right now. The first is just a basic, I'll try to do it on the side so you don't see my foot, is this elephant pose where the leg comes over the arm. Technically speaking, the leg behind the head pose is much more of a leg behind the shoulder. You need to get the leg behind the shoulder blade of whatever side. So we're training here to get the leg as high onto the shoulder. You only really need it above the elbow to do this pose, but the higher you can get it by pulling the heel, by lifting the calf muscle, and get it behind the shoulder, the easier the pose will be. So plant the hands, whatever, you can watch all my hand balance videos. It helps to turn the palms out. And I pull down with this hamstring. I'm training to engage this hamstring. So the action, the vector of motion or a force of this heel should be down towards the ground. All right, and then the opposite motion would be to pull the shoulder back. So they're going against each other, the leg down, shoulder up and back. Point and straight the other leg and lift up however you can. Look forward out beyond the front toes, 5 breaths. And this will open the hips slightly, a little bit. It's not a huge hip opener, but what it's really training is to engage the hamstring. Because, and I'll do, when the leg is behind the head, you want to be pulling the heel down using the hamstring. So another variation, when you start getting to the point where you can get the leg behind the head, I mean, there's all kinds of warm-ups where you like cradle the leg, or you put it behind the shoulder like we just did, and then try to straighten the leg. In the video series that I have, part 1 through 4 of leg behind the head, I explain, you know, some people, they have more external rotation, some people, they have more open hamstrings. So you want to work your weaker side. So for me, I have more open hamstrings, but my external rotation is not as much. So I emphasize the external rotation as far as I can, and then I'll take advantage of the hamstring flexibility. The opposite would be true for some people with open hips but tight hamstrings. And so in this next variation, assuming you've done all kinds of warm-ups to get yourself to the maximum safe range of motion, I'll pull from under the calf, get it as far behind the shoulder as possible, and then I'll take the heel across. And I might do this little kind of a shuffling of trying to get my shoulder forward. Now, from here, a lot of people will pull the foot down, and that's okay. You can use a strap. So I hook the strap over the foot and then under the opposite arm. So I'm holding the strap here. All right. This is training that downward motion. So I want to also be engaging the hamstring here. So I'm pulling the heel down, ideally pointing the foot, and the strap will help keep it behind the head. Okay. And let's see, one final. So I suppose, and I have done the strap using 2 legs behind the head and hooking the top leg with the strap. I don't recommend doing that. I injured myself doing that twice. So I tried to do it again and it still didn't work. So only 1 leg at a time, I would use the strap. For the 2 leg behind the head, refer to my previous videos on variations for that. Finally, I'll say, if you get the leg behind the head, and so you're a little bit deeper, you don't necessarily need the strap to keep it there. You can cup the hands under the chin and lift with the elbows. Again, I'm pulling down with the hamstring to get it down behind the back, and this helps release some of the tension around the outside of the hips capsule. We really want to focalize the stretch in the deep external hip rotators and the IT band. So that's going to mean a lot of Uddiyana Bandha. I have a video on Uddiyana Bandha, I'll link for this. And then pulling down with the hamstring and up with the head. And then here you can work any of those postures also. Let's see, and I think that's probably about enough for today. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions or other feedback on this video, comment below, and definitely subscribe to the channel. This is Chris with Silent Flute. Namaste. 9th one.